this year, it actually seems like Apple are going to make some big changes to their iPhone 17 lineup. There's been so many different leaks out there about things that are absurdly untrue and so many things that actually seem like they're going to be true. If you're as lost as I was before making this video, then stick around because I'm going to explain everything from what's true to what isn't and what's actually coming. Like I said, I'm going to be giving you guys a complete overview on the iPhone 17 lineup and of all of the leaks that we've seen so far. Obviously, we don't know whether all of these things are going to be true, but there's a lot of reputable sources that have said that most of these can be. And those are the ones that I'm going to be taking a look at today. And hopefully we can see in a future actually get revealed in the Apple September event. So from all the leaks, it seems like this year we're going to get a 4 iPhone lineup, which is pretty similar to what we've had the previous years. Now this year, starting us off, it seems like it's going to be the 17 base, which is pretty standard since it's what Apple do every year. And it seems like it's going to be another small incremental change from the years prior. This 17 base doesn't really seem like it's going to bring much changes from the 16 to the 15 to the 14. It's simply going to be small changes to introduce the new lineup. Next up on the leaks, what we've seen is going to come out is the iPhone 17 Air. Now, this is a phone that's turning a lot of heads if what it is ends up being what the leaks have told us it's going to be. That's because it's rumored, and obviously everything at this point is still a rumor, but it's rumored that this phone is going to be 5.5 millimeters thick, which is crazy in every way, shape, and form. To fit so much hardware into a 5 millimeter phone is crazy. I'm not exactly sure how Apple are going to do it, but we're just going to have to wait until their September event to see what actually they end up revealing. Next up in the rumored iPhone 17 lineup is going to be the Pro models. Now, obviously, these models are pretty much standard to what they have been the years prior, but it seems like this year the biggest change is going to be what Apple tends to change year after year, which is going to be the camera bumps. Obviously, the design of the camera has seen a lot of changes since the iPhone 10, or should I say the iPhone X, and this year it seems to be no different. So looking at the pricing in the entire lineup, or at least what the leaks say they're going to be, I actually thought that the pricing was going to be a lot steeper and a lot more expensive than the previous years. This is because since Apple was bringing out, or at least is rumored to bring out, the iPhone 17 Air, I thought that Apple, knowing Apple, would price that very, very highly to a point, and I was already kind of predicting this, that people would critique the iPhone 17 Air for being so thin, bringing less features, and at a higher price tag. Surprisingly enough, it seems like the phone is going to be priced at around $900, which for the new sort of X Factor phone of this year, to be priced at under $1,000 really isn't that bad. Especially knowing Apple and knowing how money hungry they are and the fact that they just kind of charge for everything, the fact that it was under $1,000 to me at least was a surprise. So continuing with the prices and just speaking about each phone individually, it seems like the iPhone 17 base model is gonna come in at around $799 or $800 pretty much. Now for this price range and what you're getting, if you're already coming from a 16 or 15, the jump is just not necessary. And I also have a kind of issue with this phone, and it's the fact that the 17 base isn't even going to get the visor style camera that the 17 Air and Pro models are getting. So that really would be the only reason to change if you're on a 16, 15, or anything that's already remotely good. And the fact that the 17 base doesn't even bring that visor style camera to me just makes no sense. So don't upgrade it if that is what you're thinking of doing. And if you're not, well, it honestly just makes no sense to do so either way. After the 17 base and Air models priced at $800 and $900 respectively, it seems that the Pro models, which are standard of every year, you get the 17 Pro and the 17 Pro Max, are actually going to bring the visor style camera, obviously with the 3 cameras as has been standard for the past few years. But it seems that Apple this year are going to include a sort of aluminum and also matte glass back. It seems that there's going to be some division in the back part of the phone. I'm going to put some pictures on screen now so you guys could see it sort of for yourselves. But yeah, it seems like Apple are going to do that. And it's a really, really big change to what we've seen in the past few years. Again, same with the visor. I don't think it looks too good. I don't think it looks clean. And especially as they are Apple and everything they do is sort of sleek and minimalistic, I think this just goes the wrong way. Now, knowing how the trends of the previous years have gone, I wouldn't be surprised if newer phones start doing this sort of two-tone backside of a phone because obviously everybody kind of copies Apple. But until then, we just have to wait and see what ends up happening. The two Pro models, so the 17 Pro and the 17 Pro Max, seem to be coming in at $1,100 and $1,200 respectively. The 17 Pro Max is going to be coming at a lot more than that if you do end up upgrading your storage, which if you're already getting the Pro, it seems like you probably are going to need to upgrade your storage. And then that's going to run you about 1,400 to maybe even 1,500 bucks. Apart from the big changes in the sort of two-tone back case for the Pro models, the camera style, and the extreme thinness of the 17 Air, there really isn't much that has been changed. It seems to have stayed the same, and those really are going to be the biggest changes that we're hoping to see announced in late September of 2025. Now, obviously, there's a lot of questions to be had since all of these things that I've said are just leaks, but the main questions are going to be about the 17 Air. With it being so thin, how is it actually going to handle battery life and durability? On the battery life side of things, with it being so thin, it's really surprising to me that they're going to be able to fit a big battery in there, and I really don't think they're going to be able to. So we're just going to have to see some real day-to-day tests on the battery life of the 17 Air to see how it actually holds up against the 17 base or even the Pro models. And in terms of durability, let's not forget that only a few years back, the iPhone 6 was bending like crazy. People would put it in their back pocket, they would get up from their seat, and that was enough to completely bend the phone. So we're going to have to see how the iPhone 17 Air really stands up against that and if it actually is strong enough to handle day-to-day usage. Apart from those two questions, though, everything else is kind of just aesthetic. You know, how is the back really going to look on the Pro models? How is the camera bump going to look on pretty much every model apart from the 17 base? And is the 17 base actually going to sell any models? And is it going to be any different to what we have now? Because if it is so similar to the 16, then there's going to be no point in actually having it in the lineup, and they should just start the lineup since the Air model. I have also recently noticed that if the leaks are what they say they are, Apple's going to be kind of contradicting themselves in a way because in the MacBook models, the Air model is usually the cheaper one with less space and sort of less features and less everything. But now it seems that in the iPhones, the Air model is actually going to be a step up from the base model, which again just contradicts with the MacBook lineup and leaves sort of customers wondering what the Air model actually is. Is it a better version of what's already there, or is it a less version than what's already there? Again, that's just something we're going to have to see. I think it makes no sense from Apple's standpoint, but we have to wait until December to see what they actually end up announcing. All in all, I'm still very excited though for the Apple September event to see what they end up unveiling and what phones actually end up coming out. I'm really happy that they're actually experimenting this year and doing something different because apart from the dynamic island 1 or 2 years ago, there really hasn't been any change. All they change year after year is the camera bumps and that's it. So I'm really, really happy that this year we're finally getting something that's actually different and that can actually cause some sort of commotion in the customers and that can actually pique our interest a little more than what we've had for the past 10 years or so. I'm obviously going to be a little skeptical on what's come out and what hasn't. And obviously with the Air model, there's a lot of questions to be had, which I hope will get answered in September. But until then, when I make another video on the new iPhone 17 Air, what I like and what I don't, I'll see you guys in the next one.